these are looking really similar to the real-life mascot head back then. The entire face is very true to the original, with the proportions more or less correct. Hey everyone, it's yours cuddly, Kitwana. Today with a special episode of Kitwana's Toys celebrating National Mascot Day, as every year on June 17th. And if you've been watching my National Mascot Day special episode from 2 years ago, then you have seen me featuring a bunch of plushies of my favorite ever sports mascot, Stanley C. Panther of the NHL Florida Panthers. And today I am going to show you another plushie of Stanley C. Panther. That's one that I did not own back then yet because it was so difficult to find, but I knew it existed and I really wanted to have it. And I finally found it on eBay recently for only $50. So what we are going to look at today is this huge plushie of Stanley C. Panther, which was released back in 1993 for the Florida Panthers inaugural season, which was the 1993-1994 season, and to promote the NHL's newest franchise in South Florida. The marketing team came up with something really special. It's probably the one of the largest NHL mascot plushies ever manufactured, and certainly it is the largest Stanley C. Panther plush that was ever released. The tag says that it's made by INKO Headwear in Indonesia. INKO Headwear does not seem to exist anymore today, unfortunately. Pretty much all of the NHL mascot plushies manufactured nowadays are made by Fanatics. Well, let's zoom in at his head first. You can see the ears nicely sticking out, and he's got embroidered eyebrows and two plastic eyes. These are looking really similar to the real-life mascot head back then. The entire face is very true to the original, with the proportions more or less correct. In addition to the plastic eyes, he also has a plastic nose. Makes him look very realistic. It's really nice that they did the eyes and the nose out of plastic. And you can see they airbrushed 3 whisker spots as well on each side. And his mouth is slightly opened and reveals 4 fabric teeth. And you can see coloring is nicely golden and white. It's exactly like it was on the real-life mascot that is still alive today, of course. And what also changed over time is, of course, the jersey. As you know, the Florida Panthers had a complete redesign of their logo and colors just a couple of years ago. But back in 1993, the jersey that this plushie is wearing here, and which I'm also wearing as well, as you can see here, with the classic Leaping Panthers logo, the golden, red, white jerseys. These were the home jerseys of the Florida Panthers in the mid-1990s. And of course also during the inaugural season. And here on this toy, you can see the jersey basically is very well made. You can see the stripes are sewn on, the golden and the red striping patterns, they are all soon. But what's not so great is the logo. This has completely chipped off after almost 30 years of playing and cuddling with it. So the previous owner loved this plushie a lot. That's really too bad that they didn't sew this logo on. I mean, you could basically reapply the logo by googling for the old classic Leaping Panthers logo, and then with the help of transfer paper and an iron you could simply iron it on again. The same is unfortunately true for the shoulder patches as well. These are about to come off soon. The more I play and hug with Stanley. Yet I still really love this plushie to death. I mean, it's really the best mascot plushie that I own. Let's go further down and you can see he's wearing the hockey pants, just like the real life mascot. And as we go further down his legs, you can see the excellent plush that he's made of. Really heavy, and it's also stuffed quite hard, I must say. And then you can see his massive feet, and this, you can see they imitated his claws, and underneath on the soles he's got the paws, the paw pads airbrushed on. That's a really nice detail. And then on the back you can see the excellent sculpting job again they did on his head. It's really close to the real life mascot costume. That's excellent plush sculpting, considering it was 1993 and 3D software wasn't very advanced back then, but they sure did an excellent job of the patterns. The back of his jersey, which has his name spelled out in full, Stanley C Panther, and the number he had back then was 93 degrees. That's a nod to the super warm weather that is usually present in South Florida. And that's really cool. You can actually still see the degrees sign, although the paint here is about to chip off as well, unfortunately. That's too bad. And the actual Stanley C Panther really had his name spelled, his really long name spelled out on his original jersey as well. Nowadays his name is just spelled out as Stanley, and the number is a 00. And by now you probably also recognized the 93 is also referring to the inaugural season year of the Panthers. And further down you can see the pants have a hole on their back to allow the tail to go through. And the tail is supposed to act as a stand, but it doesn't always work very well. You have to use quite some effort to make this plushie stand on its own. Just like the entire plushie, the tail has a wire armature inside it, and you can pose it in different ways. I remember the actual mascot always had its tail down like this, but you can basically pose this to all sides, left, right, up, down, however you prefer. And then, speaking about the poseability, I said there's a wire armature in this plushie running from the top of his head actually all the way down to here, and then it branches off into his arms. And the arms are an excellent sculpting job as well. You can see the paw pads being sculpted here, actually being sewn on, unlike the feet soles, which are just airbrushed. The paw pads on the arms are actually Velcro, and they can stick together like this. And we were talking about poseability. You can actually pose his arms, and what you can do really well is you can recreate certain mascot gestures, such like smiling, laughing like this, or you can make Stanley clap like this, let's go Panthers, or you can, as said, have the hand paws stick together using the sewn on Velcro. That's really cute. And also the legs are somewhat poseable, although the cloth really is very thick in order to properly pose him, preventing him from doing that. Let's see if we can make him stick if we pose the tail. It's quite difficult. And while there is bioarmature in his head, you can actually not pose his head. Just a little bit to the left and right, but I really don't want to stress this too much. I don't want to break anything inside him. But this is amazing how much effort they took in order to create this toy. It's really heavy. But I really like that they actually went the effort and didn't just make this a plushie, but a kind of a plush sculpture, a plush action figure, almost, if you want to put it that way. And take a look at this massive size. I mean, this is huge. And it's not only really tall, it's also very heavy, very durable. Probably get an impression when I do this. And the plush is of an excellent quality. The jersey less so, but the plush is really holding up very well and looking like new even after 30 years. It's 22 inches tall. Overall, that's 56 centimeters, and it makes the perfect cuddle companion. Take a look at this. The arms are wide enough so Stanley can actually give you a big hug, and you can cuddle with him really nicely. And if you bring him to a Panthers game, I'm sure you'll be the talk of the arena, and everyone sitting around you will love your plushie, and that's why it is my dream to take this Stanley plush to an actual Panthers home game. And if all things work out, then I am actually supposed to be at the 2023 All-Star Game next February, which is hosted by the Panthers. And as you know, all the mascots, all the NHL mascots will meet there for some friendly competition games, and of course lots of hugs and photos. And I am hoping to meet Stanley C. Panther again there and show him this plushie. Wish me luck. Stanley C. Panther has played a big role for me in finding the furry fandom. He was the very first sports mascot that I've ever met. It was back in 2006 when I was on vacation in Florida. I went to a Panthers home game and had a totally unplanned encounter with Stanley. I happened to be in the right spot at the right time, and I became so fascinated about mascotting, which was something I did not know from here in Switzerland. But I found out it is big in the US, and I began to research and found out what these mascots like Stanley C. Panther do both on and off the field with their community appearances. For example, Stanley is visiting the local children's hospital in Broward County on a regular basis until today, and that's something that left a big impression with me, and I always wanted to do something similar. And here I am as Kitwana Lion. So Stanley had a huge impact on my life, and it's so cool that I was able to find this plushie. I said I found it on eBay for $50, and this is really rare. If you happen to find one, you can consider yourself really lucky. I'm not sure how many of them were made back then and what the original retail price was. If you know, please let me know down in the comments. And speaking of comments, let me know in the comments what your favorite sports mascot is, and share stories about your mascot plushies. Today on National Mascot Day, I would love to hear from you as always. I'd love to learn more about this plushie. It was probably sold at the arena of the Panthers, which was originally in Miami. And it would be interesting to know what the original retail price was for this piece, which definitely belongs into the "they just don't make toys like this anymore" category. I mean, really, take a look at the most recent NHL plushies. They are a really far cry. Even the recent Stanley C. Panther plushies, they're hardly stuffed, and their jerseys are super cheap with the paint chipping off, and nothing sewn as nicely like on Stanley. This Stanley here, and it's really too bad that it's just about coast cutting nowadays. And so yeah, that was it for today's episode for this year's National Mascot Day. Thank you so much for watching, and Stanley and I say goodbye.